Something that always sends me is how unmarried single women are literally the happiest subgroup in society, and yet people still say shit like, well, with that attitude, you'll never find a man, as though it's the worst thing in the world that can happen. Like, don't threaten me with a good time.
Do you think men are important?
Like for what?
This episode might trigger you, but it's time that we openly talk about the true cost of glamorizing and romanticizing singleness emotionally, biologically, and spiritually. They said this is freedom, that boss babe is the pinnacle of success, and we need no men, and childless women experience the highest level of happiness. But here we are, a generation of the most educated women, but are also the most depressed, the most anxious, and the fastest to age biologically. Nearly 1 in 5 women over age of 40 are on antidepressants in US, and suicidal rates are the highest among women without children. And for women who have never carried a full pregnancy, often faces earlier menopause, along with faster aging, greater risk of health diseases, cognitive decline, and premature death. Let's look at the data that mainstream media does not want us to see. Women aged 40 to 59, the exact demographic that were targeted by the empowerment narrative, are now the largest consumer of antidepressants in US, accounting for nearly a quarter of the entire market, and it's not slowing down. Morgan Stanley predicted that by 2030, 45% of women between the age of 25 to 45 in US will be single and childless. But are they truly happy? A large scale of Finnish study found that women who are living alone have an 80% higher chance on antidepressant, comparing those who live with others. Women with 2 children have 70% lower suicidal risk than childless women. Taiwanese data found that women with 3 or more children have 60% lower risk than women with just 1. And in US, women's suicidal rate peaked between the age of 45 to 54. And it doesn't even stop there. Research published in Human Reproduction found that women who never carried a full pregnancy are 2 to 3 times more likely enter into early menopause, even after adjusting for lifestyle factors and income. And early menopause is not just an inconvenience, it's actually tied to higher risk of heart diseases, osteoporosis, dementia, and accelerated aging. These numbers are not just statistics, they are signal, and they are patterns that are undeniable. But how did we end up here? Who sold us this narrative and why did it happen? And we have to come back to look at feminism. We were told that feminism is about freedom, but what started as a fight for voting rights and legal protection was entirely morphed by engineering. The first wave of feminism gave women voices, the right to vote, to own property, to protect our children. But the second wave of feminism, they told us to abandon our family, to delay birth, and to chase fulfillment through career, casual sex, and self sufficiency. Feminism didn't only gain traction, it also gained funding. The Rockefeller Foundation donated 15,000 US dollars in the 1970s to the National Organization of Women, now, which is equivalent to 115,000 US today. Gloria Steiner, the founder of Ms. Magazine, which is one of the most influential publications of this era, was also backed by foundation money and launched with early support from Warner Communication and Ford Foundation partners. But what's even more shocking? Gloria Steiner later on acknowledged that she was working with the CIA in her early career during her time with the Independent Research Group, and her task was to organize anti communist youth festivals abroad. When the truth came out, Gloria Steiner stated that the agency is liberal and nonviolent, and their goals are actually aligned. But you might also wonder, like I do, why do intelligence agency and billionaire-backed foundation care about feminism? Why do they encourage us to delay motherhood, to abandon the family, and to prioritize career? Could it because it serves power? Could it mean that double the workforce means double the taxation? Could it mean women who are highly sufficient are also highly profitable consumer? That fewer intact families means more dependence and reliance on the government, pharmaceutical sales, and better for marketing? Even David Rockefeller, in his own memoir, he wrote, "Some believe we are part of a sacred cabal. If that's the charge, I stand guilty and I am proud of it." Is this truly about liberating women? Or is it just monetizing us? We were told that we could have it all, but just later. After the success, after the money, and maybe then it's motherhood. But nobody told us there is actually a biological ending towards the potential of motherhood and the loss, the grief, and the mourning of this potential collapsed many women. And in a 2016 study actually shown that involuntarily childless women, meaning women who wanted to have children but were not able to have, often experience grief between age of 40 to 50, especially when menopause signals its finality. The career can give you power, it can give you applause, but no amount of career and money and power give you the unconditional love that we deserve to experience. And no amount of that equal to home. This is not an attack of feminism, but true freedom does not require us to reject men or to become a replica of them. So, what now? Should we continue to chase the myth of total independence? Or can we come back to something much older, wiser, and more humane and acknowledge that as humans, we're not meant to live as atomized individuals? I'm not saying that we should just accept the scripts that society give it to us, but maybe we could come back more internally and ask ourselves what truly matters to us at the age of 60, 70, 80s, and even 90s. And maybe there's a version of the future that we don't have to choose me over we. Perfect love casts out fear. And now these three remains: faith, love, and hope. But the greatest among this all is love.